Hi everyone. All right, let's get started and welcome to everybody on Periscope. Can you believe this is our last live streaming session from the National Genealogical Society Conference? I'm glad you guys are with us. I hope you've been enjoying it this weekend. We've had a lot of fun doing it. And thanks to all of you guys for coming in person. We are going to talk about online backup. And I've got one that I want to recommend to you because I think it's excellent, and I've looked at a lot of them. And Backblaze is the software, is the program. But let's talk about how really invaluable your digital files are. You're putting more and more photos on your computer, on your devices, and that's just one of many. We're taking videos with our devices. We're getting emails we want to hang on to and documents sent to us. It's just becoming really adding up, and we want to be able to protect them, so if something happens to our computer, we're going to be in good shape. Now, the old school way to do this was to, okay, it's the end of the month, everybody plug in your hard drive, your external hard drive, and back up your computer. And there's a couple of challenges with that. The thing is, your external hard drive and your computer are probably in the same building. They're probably at home, right? So it's okay if your computer, dies, if it crashes, but if something happens to your house, and I hope this never happens, but we actually, one of my husband's best friends lost a house to fire in the California hills this last year. Everything they lost in their house. And so that's where you get into trouble, where if your backup is on a physical drive and it's in the same location. So there's more than just your computer crashing. And it's not over, because even if the fire doesn't take it, chances are water damage, there's so many other things that can still cause the problem. And take them both out. And of course, accidents happen. A hard drive that's external, that you're going to plug into your computer, that's physical. It's mechanical, right? And so not only can it be dropped, it can be lost. Which drawer did I put it in? And it fell behind some folder. But it can break. And so that, again, makes it more vulnerable. The new way to do this, the new way to protect your files, is to set it and forget it. And that's with a cloud backup service. And right there, when you think of it as cloud is just the marketing term they came up with to help us think about that not everything's going to be on our personal computer anymore. It's going to be out there. Well, out there is just where the internet sends your files, and it's sending them to somebody else's data center, their computer. And companies that are specializing, like Backblaze, in storage, cloud storage, they have huge facilities dedicated to, thousands of hard drives, redundant, which means they have multiples backing up the same thing. And they also have amazing cooling systems, because, computers get warm, you have it on your lap, and it starts to heat up. That's what make it vulnerable to damage. They have the whole system set up. That's all they do. So let's talk about set it and forget it. You can sign up for a service like Backblaze, and that way you don't have to think at the end of the month, did I trigger it to back up? It's actually backing up every day. And so you're doing research, you're adding new stuff all the time. It would be really a shame to even lose 30 days worth of stuff. And that's what would happen if you don't do it this way. So here's my little attempt at visualization of this process. Here's your computer, and you've got your documents and photographs that you have found. Backup's going to happen automatically all day long, every day, as you're adding data. But look at this. You already got 2 copies. One of the keys to security is redundancy. So it's not just that you have a copy, but you actually have multiple copies. Even Backblaze or any kind of cloud service knows that they could lose a server too. That can happen. So they have redundancy built into their system, but you never have to think about it. What you did is you signed up, turned it on, and it runs in the background. That's it. and it's off-site, right? These guys are actually, their biggest data centers out in Sacramento, California. It's zipping there in a millisecond via the internet, but that's where their data is off-site. So you've gotten around the problem of your backup being in your house. And the other side of the equation is getting your stuff back. So you want something where you can restore really easily. And one of the things I think is great about them is that you can pick the key stuff that you want to work on today. Because if you've ever backed something up, you've probably found it takes a while. And so being able to go in and select, look, I just want my genealogy folder or this surname folder and that, get that down, and the rest of it will back up over the next 24 hours or 48 hours and restore the entire system. But you're down for just a few minutes. The other thing is they have a free app, so you could really access a file off of your smartphone or your tablet by using their app, which is pretty cool. So even though it's not a restoration of a crashed computer, it's access to those files. So restoring really easily. This is actually what a data center looks like. I'd like to know where my stuff is going. And it's fascinating. They build these themselves. They have the cooling fans built in. It's an amazing facility. And then the entire building being cooled and cared for. There's another one. That's what redundancy looks like. Copies of copies of copies off-site. So to kind of give you a sense, one of the reasons I call my company Genealogy Gems is I'm always looking for, there's so many different versions of things. There's different software programs, different websites, and it gets confusing and you only need one. So I'm hoping that we devote a lot of time to investigating them, vetting them, and interviewing them and finding out and kind of comparing the services. I used to use another service that's very well known, Carbonate, and my problem was I started taking a lot more videos of my grandchildren. And I create a lot of videos for my company. They don't automatically back up video, and I did not know that for months. You have to go in and select, this is the video, go ahead and back it up manually every time. And that was just like, what? These guys don't. It's your files are files. I don't care what kind of files they are, they're important. And I know that video files are large, and that could be a reason why maybe a company, that's a question you have to ask. If you decide you don't want to do Backblaze, whoever you go to, you need to find out if they're picking and choosing which files they're allowing you and how automated that is. This is fully automated. They started back in 2007, which is actually when we started as well. And they've backed up over 10 billion files. It's amazing the amount. They were voted #1 online backup service for About.com. Now, if you are super into high-end computing and you've got your own servers and this kind of stuff, you may want to go with something that's more sophisticated. For me, in evaluating services as a genealogist, I want really easy to use and really automated, and I want everything covered. And when you compare those key features that we need as a genealogist, not as somebody who's running, a data center or something like that, Backblaze really came to the top. And if you've ever been to the Roots Tech conference, they've been sponsoring their demo theater for several years. They're the only backup service that's ever embraced the genealogy community. They came to us and said, wow, we've got a service we know you guys would love. And that's how I met them. And they're an awesome team of people. So here's the checklist. So I hope whether you use Backblaze or whether you go with somebody else, one, I hope you do absolutely make sure when you get home that you get a backup service up and running that's automated. But here's the questions you should be asking. Is it automatically backing up all the data, and does that include large files like video? In fact, is there a limit size? So if, I have some huge, I'm scanning old maps and I want them at, 1200 DPI because I want to have really great resolution, am I going to run into trouble if all of a sudden my biggest maps aren't being backed up? Backups are attached to an external USB. You can have an external drive. I know I'm going to start, putting some of my photos on one of my externals. you can plug it in and have Backblaze automatically back up that external at the same time it's backing up your regular computer. So, it's amazing how we're filling up our computers these days. Having that ability and having it considered to be still the same backup is nice. And they don't throttle. That's another question you've got to ask a company. Is it unthrottled, or do you optimize the backup speed? And throttling, you might have heard this in terms of your cable company and Netflix. Netflix is streaming all this video data, and some services want to throttle. They want to hold it back, put a little bit of brakes on it, and let through other types of data across the web. Backblaze is not going to say, oh, well, you've got a lot over here, so we're going to put some brakes on you and then do this. It's unthrottled. So it's really wide open. And the key is, it's as fast as your computer will allow the transfer of the data. So it would only be your computer that would set the tone of how fast. Lots of flexible backup options. Restoring the file. So this is where you're in a panic and all of a sudden something's down and you want to restore. How does this work? You can do it over the web. That's going to take a little bit longer, but you can do it that way. You can also, this is brand new, they used to charge you, you had to pay, money and order a nice salt hard drive, and they would send you your entire backup by FedEx. And that's actually really a fast way to do this. They've just instituted, if you return it, you're refunded. So whatever the cost was for the hard drive itself, which many people are happy to have an extra hard drive, so go ahead and they pay for the hard drive. It's a fast restore. But if you return it to them because you don't need it, they'll send you your money back and it's a free restore. So you have options. And that's just important depending on how much pressure you're under, right? And how fast you need. Like I said, I love the idea of do a quick download over the internet of what you need to work with this week, and then auto set the rest of it to restore over the next 24, 48 hours, and you'll be in good shape. Does it restore the files, the folders, all the data? You don't lose your structure. So if you've done some filing of folders and folders on your computer hard drive, everything comes back in exactly the same format that it was in. So that's great. You don't have to worry about that. It's even got a new feature. Have you seen with some of the smartphones? I think Apple has that you can do, find my phone. You can locate your computer, lost or stolen, with Backblaze. And you can institute a passphrase. If you really want another level of security, you can have your own passphrase on top of it. They won't even have access to it. Let's go back to unthrottled, because this is probably the biggest thing that people run into. And it's something that when you're shopping services, it's not going to be the first thing they're going to talk to you about, and it won't be probably in the advertising. But there's nothing more frustrating than if it's really slowing down. So, just to recap, no speed limitation, particularly on your restoration, and that's where it's really going to hurt. Bandwidth is whatever's allowed by the bandwidth of your service. That's how fast you're going to get it. And so that's really nice to know. The mobile app. So we just did a session on mobile apps and your smartphone and your tablet. I love the fact that Backblaze has an app. This was really one of those key check off my list why I picked them, because I can access my data on the go. So I can literally open up my smartphone, hit the Backblaze app, and if I really desperately need to get a hold of a file, maybe a file I don't use every day that I have in Dropbox. My Dropbox files tend to be, or my Google Drive, those are things I'm using all the time. But maybe this is something that was stored on my main computer and it's not something I normally need to get to, but now I need to and I'm on the road. I could do that through my Backblaze app because all my files are accessible there. And it works on Apple and Android, so we like that too. That was key too, because sometimes you might have an Android phone, but you've got an Apple iPad. It's free. That's good. We like the free app. And you can share your files. So if somebody says, wait a second, what about that document? You can text or email it right from the Backblaze app. So you can see it's kind of a lot more than a file service. They started originally as the backup and then started saying, wow, we've already got these files. What else are people struggling with? that they need to do. Find their computer, send a file, retrieve a file when they're on the road. And I love that it works that way. So it gives you access to your files on your computer, even when your computer is off. Now, if you've read my book on mobile genealogy, I talk about remote access. And when we're talking about Splashtop, my new favorite is Chrome Remote Access. If you have a mobile device, a smartphone or a tablet, and there's just something like, I like to use Roots Magic, and the app is great, but sometimes I really want to use the entire Roots Magic software program, but I'm on my iPad. I don't have my computer. I can use Chrome Remote Access and through the internet service with a free app, contact my home computer and run the software of Roots Magic, and it's right on my screen, just like I've got my home computer in front of me. It's amazing. Well, you have to have your computer on to do remote access, right? This is really cool. I have been on trips where the power went out and my computer's off. I did leave it on because I intended to be able to remote in, but the power's off. All my entire files are on Backblaze's servers, right? So the way this works is you can buy it on a monthly basis, but if you do it for the 1 year, it's $50, and so you can do $5 a month or you can do $50, and you can also do a 2-year backup. It's unlimited data. It doesn't matter how much stuff that you put on your computer. And I did that. I just signed up for the year, turned it on. I haven't had to mess with it again until I got the new computer because my old one died, unfortunately. But I have a special for you guys if you think that you want to do a backup, and I hope you do it no matter what you use. Our special is that, and you guys can do this at home as well, 1 year is $50. You save $10 over the monthly, and you're going to get my free video class download. So you're going to go to backblaze.com/Lisa, and you guys here, if you want to do it, you can buy it right from Lacey here at our table. Get the $50 deal, and then you will get an email with a link, and you'll get my free video class. It's not on my website. It's not part of my premium membership, and it's normally sold in the Shop Family Tree store for $39.95. So that's a free video class that you get. It's on public records online. And I thought it was kind of a good matchup with the whole idea of security and backup, because it's about all the amount of public data that's out there that we may not know about. It's interesting to look up yourself, but it's also a fantastic way to find living relatives, maybe relatives that have been deceased in the last 100 years. So if that's one of your challenges, this is a really cool class with lots of great information, and you get it for free if you do it here. So I hope that helps, and I hope that you feel motivated to take steps no matter what you do, because cloud backup is super important. And thanks to all of you guys for joining us here at NGS. I appreciate it. Oh, yes, so it's backblaze.com/Lisa. Did I have it up there?
Yep,
At the beginning. So if you're online, backblaze.com/Lisa, and then email me and show me that you got it, and we will do that deal on the video for you guys online as well. All right, thanks you guys.